Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to Healing with Hila. This is your space for aligning, expanding, and reconnecting with who you truly are. I'm your host, Hila Ferguson. I'm a transpersonal hypnotherapist, life coach, and energy worker. Thank you so much for inviting me into your life.
So I figured that it's only appropriate for our first talk to be about how we got here. What am I doing here? What are we doing here, you guys? So here's the little bit of the backstory to this podcast, to this Patreon journey. It started really from a need, right? I started to feel very overwhelmed because I've had a lot of clients reach out to me. I'm a hypnotherapist, life coach, healer. You can read more about me if you don't know me. And recently I was featured on Gaia TV. I did this wonderful show called Journeys into the Soul for my lovely friend Dave, who created such a marvelous platform, such a wonderful show, and it was picked up by Gaia. And people have been contacting me. They see me on TV, they want to get in. And I'm done taking new clients. I've been done taking new clients for a few months now. And that was a decision that just came up from strictly choosing my kids first and feeling a bit overwhelmed every time I would say yes to support more people, even though it's my deep passion and my soul's desire. My girls really come first. And so all these people are coming and they're asking for my help, and I keep sending them on their way. I don't even have a place to reference them to. I don't even, have enough resource to give them. I just tell them to go find someone else, which is really kind of silly. And here I am feeling like something is missing. I have a very limited time in which I can dedicate to my clients and to truly the people of this planet that I care so deeply for. And yet I'm only doing one-on-one sessions, except my meditation classes that are once a month on Sundays. And it just didn't feel right. It didn't sit right with me. I started to really think about what I wanted. I started to create a list of what I wanted and what I didn't want to try to figure out, where this is leading. Where is this going? Okay, so here's this list, right? I want to share my knowledge to its maximum over the time that I actually have right now. And I want to make money doing it because, hey, money is important. One-on-one clients is not allowing me to maximize my gifts and help the most amount of people right now. And I'm feeling the need to expand ASAP. It needs to be some kind of interviews or teachings. No, get this part. This is great. I really don't want to have to learn a new online platform and create a podcast or something like that. I'm open to channeling / answering questions, but not in a way that just gives people their answers. I still want to empower people and seek the answers on their own versus reaching on the outside. And here you go. That was my list. Do you like that? I don't want to create a new platform online. I don't want to do a podcast. So I take this list and I decide to send it to Dave because, hey, why not? He knows people. Maybe, he'll help me get on some platforms, interviews. I've had many clients ask me to be on their podcasts. So I started to think in that route. And I knew he was busy at the time that I sent it. I got a quick response. We're going to talk later. And literally after that message was sent into the universe, my guide started to talk to me a little louder. And so they're like, really? You're not going to have a podcast. Really, you're not going to have your own platform. You're just going to do it with other people and for other people. Okay. We support you. And I know that nudge. I know that question. And so the real question was, why don't you want to do it, right? Because I'm so freaking busy. I'm so tired. I barely have time for anything, and I know how much time it takes to do this. So I put it aside. and I let it go. Now, crazy truth. Part of my resistance around this idea was because I've never listened to a podcast. I know I told that to my friend and they were like, "What? How how did you manage to do life and not listen to a podcast?" And honestly, I don't even know. And you know what? You know what? I'm going to take it back. I'm going to take it back because I did. I listened to one podcast in my life, and it was while I was going through IVF treatment, and I promised my doctor at the time that I would listen to his podcast about a specific issue, and I did. I listened to it from beginning to end. But that was about it. So here I am, right? I'm supposed to do a podcast. They're telling me to create a new platform. I know nothing about it. Later that day, I was pulling up YouTube to listen to my audiobook. And as I was pulling YouTube, I heard the voice of my guides going, maybe, just maybe, we'll be wiser to Google podcast for beginners instead of listening to your book. And I went, okay. And so I went ahead and I did that. And I caught this video and it was 15 minutes and it was easy. And I look at it and the guy's, recommending a platform and recommends, Canva and some different things that I've already been using and I'm very familiar with. And I realize that everything he's talking about, I already have done. I've recorded meditations, I've cleaned up audio files, I've composed and put my meditations together. I know how to layer music on top of stuff. I've run another holistic health home business, my Norwex space. And so I've very familiar with Canva and a lot of those imaging um, platforms. And so all these things, right, that I didn't want to do, that I was so afraid of, and I so didn't want to take the leap and even bothering because they felt so overwhelming for me, were things that I already know. And it's just a little piece for you, right? Like, how many times do we say no to something? Like, we put it on our no list because we constructed in our head this idea of what it might be or what it might look like, where in truth, it actually has everything that we want and everything that we asked for. I finished watching my 15-minute video and I was actually feeling a bit excited about this podcast idea. I heard the name loud and clear, Healing with Hila, super fun and easy. And I was told to go to my dance class that night and to go talk to a few of my younger friends who probably know more about podcasts than I do. And so fast forward, we go and we do that. I go to dance class, I finish class, I start chatting to my friend, another one hop in, we start talking. And she goes, yeah, and if you ever want to make money, you can always look at Patreon. And I went, yeah, of course I want to make money. Why not? And okay, sounds cool. And I felt it, that truth bumps moment. I felt it. I felt it when she said that. I really felt like I was following the breadcrumbs, right? I was on the right track. Everything I listened, listen to the thing, talk to the girls. I listened and I did, and something cool opened up. And so I felt it. So I went home and I started to dig into this Patreon thing that I've never heard of. And oh my gosh. So the first thing I see is that it's a platform for digital downloads. And here I am sitting on meditations that I've recorded for quite some time, paying for a different platform. This is commission based. So I don't have to pay outright. Sounds amazing. And if anything, I'm like, hey, I found a place to put my stuff on. How cool is that? And so I started to really dig into it and realized that, oh, the podcast app that was recommended has a new AI thing that cleans all the audios. And when I recorded my meditations, that was 7 years ago, and I didn't have those things. And so I started a new venture. It's time to clean up my meditations and put them out there. They are pretty cool, and it's silly that I'm just sitting on them. And I decided to go and try to find this picture that I had that I took in my first class that I love. And I dig and I dig and I dig, and it was a really long path to find this picture. And I finally find this file on my old computer at 11:30 at night. I had to get it. I had to get it. I couldn't go to sleep. I just had to find the picture. And I sent it to myself, and it gets sent to my phone, and I look at the date, and I went, oh, that's funny. It's showing me today's date. And then I look a little closer, and I go, oh, wait a minute. No, it says 2017. It says October 22nd, 2017. And I double take, and I look up the date for today again, and I go, today is October 22nd, 2024. And again, truth bumps everywhere. Another confirmation, another piece that's telling me I'm on the right track. I'm supposed to do this. Keep going. Keep doing this. Don't stop. And so I started doing that. I started cleaning them up and listening to them and really finding these treasures, these gems, as I listened to them live to clean them up properly, and realizing how many treasures I've sitting on for 7 years. And really, it's time for them to be out there, and it's time for them to just be valued, because they are amazing. They are incredible processes. All the processes were channeled live. Everything is unique and special. And so I really hope that you take some time and check some of them out. I've gifted one of them on my Patreon page. And so if you want to join my community and be part of this awesome space that I've created, I invite you to hop on. And so I'm working on getting all these meditations to get remastered, putting them on the website, feeling super, super excited, so driven, just banging out this work, wanting to get it done, just so, so, so excited. And as I'm working on my stuff, accidentally pushing the launch button on my Patreon. After a small moment of freak out, I realize, okay, whatever, it's not a big deal. Nobody really knows about it yet. And I keep working. I come to notice that Patreon puts you on this little block, and I'm actually unable to do anything. As they're viewing my account, they're blocking me from being able to edit or add any content or do anything really. And here I am, just in complete disbelief. I have the weekend ahead of me. I'm planned on doing a lot of work, and I can't share it. And so I felt very confused by that and decided to move a little bit more into reflection, trying to figure out what's going on. Now, I love to use my cards. I have all kinds of card decks from all kinds of authors and people that I love. And even though I'm a psychic and I'm able to talk to my team very freely, I actually always have. I like to use cards because it's a quick little way. It's a quick little way to connect. It's a quick little way to receive answers and guidance. And I get to scan them through my own filters. And sure enough, I asked for some guidance and I get this card that's all about being and doing. And it hit me so, so hard. It was such a cool moment. I, in fact, shared it with a client later on. This space of being and doing, and not necessarily mean that when something like this happens, it interrupts the end goal. That there's ebb and flow to everything, and it's okay to ebb and flow between the being and the doing. And that I was into doing, and I was, getting all this content in, I was riding that wave of momentum, moving into that space. And then I moved into being. That kind of stopped, and that way I still was able to work on some stuff, but it made me have to slow down a little bit, reflect, reconnect, reassess, clean up stuff. I found out that I put some meditations on there that I actually didn't finish editing. I found some mistakes when I kind of moved into the slowing down piece, and it was a really, really profound moment. It was really, really important. And again, just trusting divine timing as I move through this. And so I kept working on some stuff on the side, and eventually I got out Tuesday, And then on Wednesday, I was ready to roll, which again, I felt was so serendipitous and so perfect with the timing. And I always believe divine timing in its action. Everything has its wave. And sometimes, even for me, it's very hard to remember that and to remember that there's an ebb and a flow. There's a reason why sometimes resistance comes in, to look at it, to move through it, to not let it dictate the outcome, to choose the free will piece, to choose what feels good. And that leads me, I think, to kind of bring this to a close with the feel good piece. Because even through this, and I think I might share with you a little recording I did a few minutes before recording this segment of my resistance. But when something doesn't feel good, it's very hard to create from that space. And even if I'm in the middle of creating this magical thing, if I'm faced with a part of it that doesn't feel good, I won't create the same level as if I'm creating from a space that does feel good. And so, even through this, I had to be very mindful and just listen where it's like, no, I can't really handle listening to any more of my own voice in my meditations. It's annoying me. I can't really handle any more headphones in my ears, even though there's a bunch of meditations that still need to get remastered and I still need to get that on. It's okay. And then getting this inspiration to just go on YouTube and look up another piece of the podcast, and then looking at the music and finding a song that got me moving and got me so excited and so pumped that led me to want to record my intro, even though I was really resisting it. And then later led me to actually record the podcast. So I've learned to just let that guide me. And I hope that that inspires you in your life. And really letting the things that feel good push you forward. And even if you find resistance around something, look at it and search for the feel good feelings because they will push you forward way faster. I am so grateful and happy you joined me. Please join me on Patreon. I've created it to be a social community, as well as a space where my meditations are offered and a lot more really exciting content. My most exciting piece, I think, is Midnight Thoughts, which is my mini podcast, 5 minute or so segments of just intimate reflections as they come up for me throughout the day. Very similar to what I did today with you guys, just going through my own processes and my own thoughts and inner guidance from my team and my soul. There's a lot of exciting things ahead for this podcast. I intend to include clients and friends as we get together, chat, maybe do some mini sessions. So, just lots of really, really cool things coming ahead for us. I am again so grateful. Thank you so much for inviting me into your life. So much love your way.